All right, we're in house with a bunch of happy Appalachian Eagles, and you two guys, I don't know where to start. I mean, you're sitting here the first time in school history. You've been sitting here at 11-0. You're going into this second round of the playoffs. When you looked at these playoffs on paper, you, me, and the rest of the state probably thought you were fixing to be taking on Winterboro because that was you thought you was probably on a collision course with them here in the second round. Well, that didn't happen. Marion County had something to say about that, and Marion County's in the playoffs because of a Hail Mary, so they seem to be on this like destiny type run here. But for those who don't know a lot about Marion County, besides it's a long ways away from here, you two guys tell us what you've seen from Marion County.
They got some athletes. I mean, they're big up front. They're probably equal or a little bit bigger than Woodville was. Got some guys and they got two different little quarterbacks they like to run, and one's more of a thrower, and he's kind of I think he might be a 10th grader. Then they got a senior that will run it, pretty hard, and they got a couple of other guys that are really athletic and can kind of get after it. On the offensive side of the ball, and defensively, they kind of mirror what we do. Like to play a lot of single high stuff, or they're going to play man and let their linebackers kind of come down and try to hit you. I mean, it's going to be a lot of similarities between us and them on Fridays.
Yeah, like Coach Beard said, big up front, going to be one of the biggest lines that we've faced. Kind of mirrors us. We're going to have to be really sorry. I felt better in days, but like I said, really mirrors us. Like I said, they got linebackers move well, pretty athletic in space. It's going to be a matchup of, like I said, almost us versus us when you start looking at, big line, athletic kids, just across the ball from what we've seen. But going back to, like I said, what you alluded to, we did. Everybody thought it was going to be Winterboro, and like I said, Marion County came in and took care of business their place. And like I said, we're going to have to get our stuff in the right order to go over and make sure that don't happen again.
I've gotten to know Marion County over the years. Coach Ville is a girls basketball coach. I went and sat in with him, spent the night up there, and hung out with them. The communities, you guys and them remind me of one another. It's real tight knit. But in this situation, you're gonna need your community and everybody. Talk about that. And this community right here has been fantastic. Not only this year, but all the years you've been here. But when you get in these deep playoff runs, it means something to look up in those stands and see your guys. You guys get a little bit more juice off of. But talk about that and how this community. I mean, I put out the picture of your scoreboard, okay? This to tell you how much people's paying attention to y'all. And I'll show you on my phone. Just the picture of your scoreboard in the fourth quarter last week, and it reached 75,000 people. How many people's in the population here in Appalachian?
Not 75,000.
You see where I'm going with that, though? There's people right. Taking notice to you, but that's awesome.
Our community, we couldn't ask to be in a better situation for a community. Any given Friday night and we've had some long road games. We went to Ider, we went to Section, went to Valley Head. That's an hour and a half, 2-hour drives. And any given place we go, we've got as many people in the stands as the home team does.
That is awesome.
Our follow has been great, like I said, and it's not just player parents that you turn around and see. We have people from throughout the community. The night that we came home from Valley Head after we went undefeated, there were people that were here and met us and was talking to us. Their kids graduated 20, 25 years ago. Some of them graduated with me. They don't have grandkids here, but they were here to meet us.
That's awesome.
And just guys showing up, not just guys and ladies showing up, the community in general, like I said, they feed us before games, and like I said, we've never been without. The community just steps up and takes care of us, and like I said, I think I said this last time, we've told the guys they understand how much we depend on the community. And as we were coming up County Road 12, getting close, some of the guys were trying to figure out why all the stadium lights were on. And that's what I told them on the bus. I said, you know what this community means to us. I said, you're fixing to see what you mean to the community.
That's
and then
awesome.
they started realizing that the road was lined for an undefeated
That's
season.
awesome, dude.
And like Coach Beard said, we can carry this on and make it to Birmingham. There's no telling how far those folks will be lined up.
Oh, man. They'll be down there all the way down the mountain.
Yeah, when we won that state baseball title, a few years ago, I was on the charter bus coming back, and of course, all my family lives at the end of 12 right here before you turn to go off the mountain, and from my aunt's yard at the end of 12 all the way to the school, I mean, there's just people lined up.
That's awesome.
It was just waiting for us, and what I tell our kids, as special as that was, football skiing in Alabama.
I ain't no doubt.
You'll see people lined up forever for football.
That's right.
I mean, it's like I said, it is a special place. That's why I choose to raise my kids here. I went 6.5 years at Oneonta, and I went 6.5 years here, and my brothers graduated from here, and this is there's nothing like Straight Mountain. It's just like we talked about last week with the girls, and going to play in the Final Four. There's people that don't have clue about volleyball, but they were there because Appalachian was there, and that's kind of how things have always been around here. It's going to support the blue and white or blue and silver, or used to be blue and gold. Wherever Appalachian is going to be, this community is going to be, and that's what's special about it. Everybody knows everybody. Probably everybody's related to everybody up here.
Awesome.
It's a great place, and going back to Gewin, that's where I had a cousin that coached there for a year, and was able to go down there when and see some of that, and that was, you're right, they're just as tight knit down there, and they're going to show up. But I think you're going to see a sea of blue when we roll into Marion County on Friday night.
When last week you guys just won in a dominant fashion, what was the final, 74-6 or?
Yeah.
Was there something that happened in that game early, or something that clicked where the guys just said, hey man, we're fixing to step on the gas and just take this one over?
Actually, we played awful.
Really?
We played really, first two series, now defensively, we were lights out. They were young, and we knew they were young, and we just sent pressure because,
just send in the house.
Yeah, that's what we did, and because we knew we could man up on them, and like I said, send our two linebackers. They couldn't block them, but offensively, it was, it was about what I expected with kind of 2 weeks off. Some lazy mistakes. We score early. I think we made them turn it over or something, or they snap a punt over their head. We get the ball on the 5 first, and we scored in one play. We make them fumble the next series and recover it, and 2 plays later we're in the end zone again. Well, after that, it was just like our line decided to start taking some plays off, and it was very sloppy. In fact, the third drive, we're rolling down through there and we're missing blocks, and I had to call a timeout because it was butt chewing time.
There you go.
And
no matter the score, if somebody needs to get chewed, they're getting chewed.
And we all needed it. We weren't running it hard. We weren't blocking the way I thought we should be. And halftime they got it again. We're winning 47 or 40, I don't know, something at halftime, and I was, we had already talked about it. Like we were trying to put on film, because again, you're playing high school kids. You can win games just by showing what on film that you're willing to hit, and that's what I wanted them to see. Especially if we were playing Winterboro, I wanted them to see that hey, we're really physical, and I don't think we did a very good job of that early on. And we come back out after halftime and left our ones for one series, kind of like what we've had to do most of the year, and kind of score quick and get them off the field, and then let our young kids come in, and I think they allowed a dumb touchdown, but they scored 3 or 4 touchdowns too. So it was a pretty convincing effort on all the way around after. But like I said, it was probably the worst we've looked in a while. So.
Yeah, like you said, the line. We've prided ourselves this year on our line, both sides of the ball being dominant, and really setting the tone. And defensively, our defensive line did once again, but our offensive line made a lot of, like you said, lazy mistakes, missed assignments, just lack of concentration by them. Coaches caused some problems in a lot of places, and that's what we told them. Said, guys, it starts and stops with y'all. Y'all are going to do right, and we're going to do right. Y'all are going to do wrong, and it's where it leaves us. So, like I said, a lot of 2 weeks off, too much time out of get out of their heads, and just wasn't doing what they know they're supposed to do.
Creatures of habits.
Yeah. Before we shut it down, the last question I want to ask, and I know you guys have probably watched film on Marion County till your eyes bleed. Each one of you guys talk about what do you think the keys is in this football game coming up to be successful over there.
Well, I stick with what I've said all year long. We've got to be good up front. Like I said, for the most of the year we've done that. We didn't do it last year. We got to, because they're big up front, so we got to take care of up front, and then we got to contain their speed. They've got some guys that's going to be faster than we are, so we got to contain their speed and like I said, take care of everything up front on both sides of the ball. And if we don't do that, then it'll be a long night for us.
Run the ball and play defense, man. If
that travels.
If we can run the ball and we'll continue to play defense the way we've been playing it, I think we're going to be, pretty successful. Like you said, they do have speed, but Raglan had. I stand on that. Raglan had the most speed we've seen all year long. And outside of some trick plays, we kind of contain that. And but if we'll come out and establish a line of scrimmage, run that football, and play disciplined football on the other side of the football, I think I really like our chances. So now, again, when they got the athletes they got, they can get you undisciplined real in a hurry, but we've you had to get out in the freezing cold up here on the mountain with the wind blowing 30 miles an hour Monday. We had kids thought they were going to die of hypothermia.
That's awesome.
And so you got what you got on Monday. Yesterday we were kind of more dialed in, but you can kind of see the kids understand. 11-0 is great, but I was a part of it with Coach Willingham, and 2008, 2009 we went to the third round. That's the best team in school history. 11-0's second round's great, but I'd still rather be closer to getting to that championship game. And that's what I keep telling them. You win one more, you're the undisputed best team in school history, but you got to focus on, and I think they've kind of established that hey, they want to do that, and like I said, we've got the talent and the ability, and we're getting one of our dudes back this week. Hopefully, I'll know that. My brother's supposed to let me know, and anytime now, if Big E's back, that's a big. That's a big help on that offensive line. Caleb Blakely's done a great job stepping in and playing that other tackle. But when you got an all-star guard that you're kind of missing, you're going to probably have some of those mistakes that we had last week, and getting him back is going to be going to be a big deal for us.
Yeah, even from a depth standpoint, I mean, you know, you can plug and move around some guys. That always changes how you can coach and different things.
Yeah, we had some of that issue Friday too, because we kept every time you turned around and looked. I mean, I guess the wet field or not playing in a week, we'd have a guy get banged up, and every time I looked, it's a daggum line. So we're having to.
Yeah, that's the last people you need to lose.
I think there was one stretch where we went 4 straight plays in a row, and every one of them we had a kid down.
Yep, and
wow.
And it was just, I mean, just hold your breath, And,
1A football.
you bring another. I mean, we got a few more on the sideline, but man, you're starting to kind of wear thin over there.
You start dwindling down, don't you?
Start looking at some of those young kids when it's getting closer, and their eyes are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
They're thinking, well, we're about to head out there. Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you guys. Good luck to you. And hey, I'd love to make another post. Y'all, you guys' stuff has been blowing up. I don't know if y'all noticed that. The numbers, the inside, I can send y'all some of y'all stuff. It's incredible. I mean, it's just crazy.
Hey, it's not just our community. Blount County's awesome.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people's from in and around this community.
I mean, it's anytime somebody. I mean, you look 2 or 3 years ago, and Locust Fork was in the same boat as we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Fife to watch Locust Fork and Fife that year. I mean, there was more people from Blount County. I mean, not saying a lot because Fife.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna fill their stands, but there's more people sending on that Locust Fork side than is over there at Fife, and they were all from Blount County. Yeah, you could tell. Appalachian, Cleveland, Buntsville. I mean, everybody was there, and like I said, Blount County's a special place.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, good luck to you guys, and man, looking forward to another scoreboard picture. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate it, man.